I gave a lot of thought all day yesterday and most of the night last night, deciding if I should do this video or not. And then I remembered um, in the Bible where it says, "Too much is given, much is required." And God has blessed me with the ability to be meaningful um, in my community by producing comedy and giving back to those who are less fortunate. Publicly, I normally don't do things like this as far as sharing my thoughts, and I just felt like it was my responsibility. I think if God blesses you with the ability to reach a lot of people, then it's your responsibility to shine a light on the injustice that is going on in America right now. And I wasn't born during civil rights. I heard a lot of stories about civil rights. My mom and obviously my grandmother and grandfather, my father, they all grew up remembering civil rights. I thought about, I took my youngest son to Ruth Chris for his birthday when he was 18 years old a couple months ago. And I realized my mother, grandmother, grandfather, father, uncles, none of them just a few decades ago could have eaten at Ruth Chris because of the color of their skin. And you had people who were willing to die and who actually died. Martin Luther King, obviously, being the biggest one, and Malcolm X. They died for us to have a right to do the things that we should be able to do as a people. And the way it seems like we're being treated now, in my opinion, is no different than the way they were treated back then. You know, all of the injustice is captured on cell phones. Imagine the amount that's not captured on cell phones. When my son leaves, my youngest son, when he leaves home, I have this thing that I tell him. I said, watch your six. And that's a military term meaning watch your back. And I always want him to be mindful of his surroundings, make sure he understands what's going on, who's where, who's doing what, what's happening, so he's not oblivious. But you also think that if something should go down, he can call 911 from his cell phone and get help. Now, I have to have conversations with him on how to act and what to do in the case of being pulled over by the police. Put both of your hands out of the window, ask them if they can have their partner go in your wallet, go in your glove compartment to check for all the things they need to check for. You just don't move. And then you still worry. What if he twitches? What if he says the wrong thing? What if he looks the wrong way? It's a terrible way for a parent to have to live their life worrying about their kids, especially when they're good kids and they won't do anything against the law. They were taught to respect people. They were taught to respect law. They were taught to respect society and the rules of society. And then you send them out into the world, and what is jokingly a watch of six is actually something he actually has to do now. Um, it's just, it's a shame. I know I'm doing this live and I'm probably stuttering and all that because I'm pretty emotional about what's going on. I mean, at any time, those videos that I've been seeing over the past, actually 3 or 4 years, these horrible videos that are coming out, that those men, any one of those men could have been my son. Any one of those men could have been me. But to lose a child, I gotta think, is the greatest grief that you can bear as a human being. And I have two children who are males. I have two grandchildren who are males, and they go out into the world, and you can't protect them all the time. You can't be there for them all the time. You can't tell them what to do and what not to do all the time. And you grow up with these rules and regulations on how you're supposed to be as a person in society. And then you have to reevaluate and say, wait a minute, the rules that apply to most do not apply to all. And I'm saying that, and I hope that's understood, the underlying meaning. My son has a various group of friends. The rules that apply to a certain group of his friends does not apply to all groups of his friends. And that's a shame. So he has to be aware that if you're with one group, you're the target. If you're with another group, all of you are the target. And that's horrible. In 2016, that is a truth. That is not something I'm just making up arbitrarily. That is the truth. You have to know who you're with and understand how you'll be treated if something goes down. And it just frightens me. One of my favorite songs is Sam Cooke, "A Change Is Gonna Come." And I thought about that song this morning, and I was like, gonna come. And he made that song decades ago. And you would think there's no way that song is really relevant today. And that song is as relevant today as it was when it was made. Because every time I think we've made progress as a people or progress as a society, something happens to make you realize, you know what? Maybe we haven't. Maybe we haven't made the progress that we thought we made. Maybe it just looks like that. Some things are better than others, but overall, the change really hasn't come yet. I had the privilege last week, 1 week ago today, to spend time in New Orleans. I was invited by Verizon to share the opportunities that existed for innovators in technology and engineering and going to school to study math and science instead of going to school to be a basketball player or to possibly be something other than what you're expected to be as a black man. And I was really passionate about it. I was really excited about sharing that and seeing young black faces light up saying, man, this could really happen for me. And then 1 week later, I'm faced with young black men, the same men that I was talking to a week ago, and telling them the world is at your feet. Anything you can imagine, anything you want to do, everything is possible. And a week later, I have to possibly tell those same men anything is possible with an addendum attached to it. And the addendum can be as long as you don't do this, as long as you don't say this, as long as you don't. That's ridiculous. Anything should be possible in 2016 for anyone, anywhere, as long as they are willing to do the work, as long as they're willing to be respectful, and as long as they're willing to be kind and loving to their fellow man. All Jesus asked for, if you read the Bible, is very clear. It's all the way through the Bible. It's to be kind to your fellow man, love your fellow man, and try to be as close to Jesus as possible, even though we're only human and we all make mistakes. But if we live by that simple law of loving people, caring for people, being kind to people, there's so much opportunity out there for us. But how do I tell that to a young man who heard me say one thing, but then when he goes home or gets on his computer or gets on his phone or gets on YouTube, he's seeing these images of people who look like him being treated like barbarians? It's a very, very scary proposition. And I just felt like I couldn't sleep or rest as a person with privilege and not say something about it, or at least, I don't know how many people see this video. I don't know if it'll change the way people think about things. But what I will say to all the celebrities and people I know of power and who are in a position to make change, you have to, on your Instagram account, on your Facebook account, on your YouTube channel, all your social media. You're responsible for telling people and enlightening people and shining a light on the injustice in America for black people. You can't go silent. I don't want to see your Instagram picture of you at the beach hanging out having fun. I could care less about that. There's a bigger war. There's a bigger thing at stake right now than you at the beach chilling, telling people about how much fun you're having. There is a war going on, and I don't know if it's going to get better before it get worse, but we, people of influence who have a voice to be able to make these videos like I'm making now, to reach people, it is our responsibility. God made it our responsibility because he gave us this gift. And he didn't give us this gift for us to just use it arbitrarily. He wanted us to use this gift in order to shine a light and give back to those less fortunate and those who don't have the voice that we have. So I plead with other people of my caliber, in my position, to do something, say something, shine a light. You don't have to picket these days and go out. All the stuff they used to do in the civil rights, we have so much technology. We can reach so many people. We can make so much change without even picketing. You don't even have to make a picket sign. The only thing you have to do is what I'm doing. Sit on your couch in your house and say something has to change. And I'm not saying I won't picket, because I will. I will come to a rally, I will picket, I will do whatever it takes as long as it's shining a light on injustice. Why? Because God gifted me. He looked upon me and smiled and said, I'm going to give you an opportunity that most people don't have. And I need to take that opportunity and do something positive with it so I can give back to God what he gave to me. So whether you're just going to your job and you don't have a lot of friends and followers, to the people who have millions and hundreds of millions of friends and followers, I beg you, use your influence, not just today, not just when it's the thing of the news or a news cycle, every day. Use your influence to shine a light on what's right and what's wrong and the changes that need to happen in America and all over the world, to be honest with you. Do that. Give God at least that much props so he knows that we appreciate what he has given us. All right. I don't know how to finish this thing. I think you press finish. Everybody have a nice day. Thank you.